All right, what's going on, everyone? Welcome back to Everything NYJ. I'm your host, Gino Pagano. With me, we have a very special guest, Jets Chaos Jeremy. Welcome to the show, my friend.
Thank you. Good to be here.
Good to have you. I know we both have had quite the interesting flights delay, so we're both kind of, off a little bit, but we're gonna have some fun tonight. Also, just everyone go follow Jets Chaos wherever it's on Instagram, Twitter, and where else are you at? Facebook as well?
The main thing is Jets Chaos on YouTube. That's my
Very nice.
main, my primary thing is getting followers on YouTube. But also, you can find me on Twitter. Just type in Jets Chaos or at Jeremy Cravat too.
Very good. And you also have the tattoo as your main profile, which is very cool. Is that real?
Did I show it to you the other day?
Hey,
I didn't show it to
hey.
you at the stadium.
No, that's
Yeah,
awesome.
yeah, man.
I
It's
love
my
that.
first. It was my first tattoo. So, I've
Oh
wanted one
man, I
for a
love
long
that.
time, but I've never known what I wanted. And then
Oh,
in the
okay.
last year, I said, I think I finally have something I love that I'm committed to the rest of my life. So
Okay.
that's
Well,
for
hey,
me.
that's awesome. I love that. I would get a tattoo, but my wife won't let me. I can't do it. So, but before we go into it, follow everything NYJ on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube, and also follow Jets Chaos as well. We're always grinding. We're always in the Jets community. We love what we do with it. But we'll get into it. First off, let's go back down memory lane. I took a picture with you on Sunday. That was
There it
very
is.
cool. Got to see you on Jets Lounge. It was a very fun time as
Yeah.
well. But just the because it's a busy day. It's hard to find everyone. It's hard to connect with everyone, especially when they're not in the same area. It's huge. My first game, it was huge, and I,
Yeah.
I I thought I would have this in the bag if I get there early enough, and we end up being late. And I'm like, okay, all right, well, there's always next time. But glad I got to see you, man. But First off, we'll talk about the Ravens game. Ravens game versus the Jets. We lost. You know, in my mind, it felt like a preseason game a little bit. It was half Ravens, half Jets, a lot of empty seats. But the Jets looked good at times, but also the whole line didn't look good. What are your thoughts on the game?
Yeah, I mean that was the big concern. One of the big concerns was the O line had no time to gel. We had the unfortunate Becton injury. Then we signed just right when we're signing Dwayne Brown. We were talking to him anyway. We bring him in, and for the first time in his 17-year career, it feels like he gets hurt. Just our luck. So you
Yeah,
just have, they had no time. Though, as a unit, you move Fant over to the other side. He's been practicing on, the right. Now all of a sudden he's playing the left. It's just too much flipping around and not enough time to gel. And it showed. It showed. Flacco was under way too much pressure.
I agree. It's just he couldn't, and we all know he doesn't do really good outside the pocket when he's running. He has to stay in the pocket all the times, and there was flashes of him doing good. But also when it comes to wide receivers, it's raining. I get the weather conditions, but you're in New York. You're going to get that all kinds of weather anyway, and you should be able to catch the ball even when you're off target or when it's coming on. Like Corey Davis dropped a couple, and then you got Brees Hall that dropped a couple. It was very frustrating, but not only that, it was one of those things where Garrett Wilson after his play, we didn't go for it on fourth down. And I can imagine maybe you were frustrated. I know I was frustrated. But at the same time, we did see some good flashes, and we also saw some defense was great.
Yeah.
And we were
No.
down to two time. We were behind by two. Going into the going into half, and I was like, okay, well, we're not done yet. But then when Lamar, knowing Lamar, what do you think?
Yeah. I mean, look, the defense did everything we could have asked them to do. And what happens is when you give the other team so many opportunities, when you're
Right,
constantly giving them the ball back and your offense is anemic, I don't care who you are, it breaks down.
right,
You could look
right.
at any team with a really good defense. If you shut down their offense all game long, eventually you're going to break their defense. And it was really three big plays, but we were being stretched and we've stretched, and finally you're going to snap. If our offense would not have been anemic and we would have been able to keep drives alive and put up some points, I don't think our defense would have fell apart like that.
I agree. Sauce Gardner had a really great game as well, and
Yeah.
and then until a couple touchdowns, but overall, the rookies did, in my mind, I think 1 out of 10 ranking. I think they did like a grade 8, an 8 for me because I mean you saw JJ2 get a sack, and then oh sorry, my goodness tonight, and then, sorry about that.
Yeah.
Um, so Garrett Wilson and then Brees Hall did pretty good except the drops, but overall, I thought the rookie class did pretty good. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, look, when you got Sauce Gardner, you have a cornerback. Typically, I don't care how you come out of college. Typically, the other team goes after a rookie cornerback,
Right,
and Sauce Gardner gave up 2 receptions for 19 yards. And
right,
TJ gave up, and that's playing his own, right? It's not
right,
like a guy beat him for a 15-yard reception one-on-one. That is, he's playing back in his zone, and a guy cuts, 6 yards out, catches the ball, Sauce goes over and pushes him out of bounds. He gets credited as giving up a reception, but he wasn't told to play up. And it's
right,
so it's not.
right,
It's he was doing his job. It was like they were giving on those plays. They were giving those small receptions, and then DJ Reed on the other side. I know he's not a rookie, but Premier's
right.
game as a Jet gives up 0 catches, on 6 targets or whatever. It's amazing. And
Right.
but yeah, overall, I'm very happy with the rookies. I'm very happy with JJ getting a half a sack is a good sign. Gardner, Sauce obviously did his job. It looks like we made the right decision there. He's good as advertised. Brees Hall, even though he had the drops, he had some runs where that promise showed. That those flashes showed. And Garrett Wilson for sure. I think the biggest thing we were all complaining about is why the hell is this kid not on the field every play?
Exactly. And I think we could all agree and tell that the safety, Joyner wasn't really doing that well. And then Jordan Whitehead was actually pretty beastly. I thought he did pretty good, but I think we can all agree that the other safety position is still in need. What do you think?
Yeah. We were all hoping that because a lot of people had questions about Joyner, and I was like
Right.
secretly hoping that we weren't seeing all the practices and they knew what they were doing, and you kind of had this feeling they know what they're doing. He was a good safety before he was switched. They
Right.
probably they for some reason they love him. The reason must be he fits the system perfectly. And no, I mean that is a disaster. And I'm afraid one of the things I'm afraid of with this coaching staff is
Right.
they seem really stubborn.
Oh yeah.
And and it's like we can't have another situation where all the fans know before they know that
Right.
Lamarcus Joyner's not any good.
And I know he's on the older side, and I know he was a great player before he got injured, but I mean, the writing is on the wall. There's a lot of positions I feel like as Jets fans and the Jets community that the writing's on the wall for a lot of these players. And as we've seen from Joe Douglas and Robert Saleh, especially Olbrook and LaFleur, they like their certain guys even if they aren't good or good. It doesn't really matter. So it's one of those things where when we go into it, a game, just like, like we went in on Sunday, it's like, are they seeing what we're seeing? You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
like what
Yeah.
what's happening here? What's going through their heads, especially with the old line? I thought Max Mitchell did a good job. I thought Barrett Tucker did a good job, but I think that left side, with Fant and Lincoln Tomlinson, it just they didn't really do that great in my opinion. Now I understand that they all four haven't been together in with preseason, and that's the way they did it. They just didn't want to gel them together, but I feel like the offensive line should have gotten more reps. What do you think?
Yeah. No, definitely. Definitely. And I don't know what they need to do in practice, have simulated games, but they've got to get those guys reps all week long and get them in sync and get them together. I do think that's a good point that I did miss. That's another rookie. I think Mitchell for a 4th round pick did well enough to be excited that, hey man, 4th round guy, at worst case, high end swing tackle, like
Right,
really good depth piece, possible starter, decent starter. I mean, it's a little early to judge completely. It's one game, but we got to be
right.
happy with the results. We got to be
I
happy with
agree.
that because he didn't stick out as a sore thumb or anything like that. So,
I agree with that, and I hope Fant and Lakin will get it together, and I hope that they'll continue to do well like they did in preseason. I know Fant with some injuries, but Lakin with a lot of promise. But I think going into it, I think we're very happy with JJ too. I think we're very happy with the way him switching up. I know Clemens wasn't really involved too much, but I just want Salah and Albert to unleash Clemens. I want them to unleash on offense with Garrett Wilson. That's what we need, and that's what we all want. But just like you said, with the stubbornness, which is correct, and I agree with you on that. It's like I know they switch everything out. I get that. You got so much depth on this team. You got to switch everybody out, but unleash them, unleash the fury, like that song. What do you think?
Yeah, man. I mean, like we got them. We got the talent. Why aren't we playing our weapons? It's so weird because why do we get to see all around the league these rookies shine, and when these other teams find a rookie and they ride it and they get them going and they improve and they grow as a team, and we're sitting on these guys and keeping them on in a cage. It makes no sense to me. It's like let the talent go. Salah was blaming at one point. He said, "Well." They said with the tight ends, he goes, the strategy was to play a lot of 1-3 and make it more tight ends and less wide receiver. Then when we fell behind, we had to let go of that and play more wide receiver. Well, I don't understand that because if your idea was that you're behind, you need to score, we need more wide receivers in there, why not go into the game with that philosophy? We got a great wide receiver room. Why aren't we seeing Elijah Moore, Garrett Wilson, Corey Davis out there at the same time? When you bring Berrios in, take Corey Davis out and let's have the three little speedsters out there at the same time. But I just don't see it. It's like we're gonna, what made you why would they think we're better off with the three tight ends out there while Garrett Wilson and Elijah Moore or Corey Davis are sitting on the bench? It just doesn't make sense to me.
And not only that, what are they doing with the tight ends? You have three good tight ends, but you put Cager in a lot. And I understand his versatility. He could probably play a little fullback for you, could play tight end, play wide receiver. I totally get his versatility and his height, but they didn't get Conklin and Uzama in really at all. And it frustrated the heck out of me because I'm sitting there like Conklin easily did the number one job for CJ Uzama. Now, I know CJ's got that great veteran presence. He's really good in the red zone, but come on. Like, why do we even have these guys? What do you think?
Well, yeah, they're overcomplicating it. Like they're trying to outthink. It's like, just come on, you got the talent. Line up your two wide receivers, line up your two tight ends, third downs, put in the three receivers with the one tight end. I'm fine with flip-flopping Breece Hall, Michael Carter, go with the hot hand, because Michael Carter was on fire. And nothing against Breece Hall, but you have to recognize that and say, we're going to ride this kid all day if we have to, because he's fire, man. People forgot about him. We got so excited about Breece Hall. We have a special running back in Michael Carter. But they're overcomplicating it. They're trying to get everybody in and do this and that. Look, just let that develop naturally and organically through the season. But when you start out, why can't we be like every other team? Put your strongest guys out there and spread the ball around and let your playmakers do their thing.
I couldn't agree more. And also to add to that, when they threw that throw to Garrett Wilson, and we should have went for it, after when he did the little dipsy doodling, because the dude is just a freak athlete.
Yeah.
It's one of those things where he was the hot hand, in my opinion, after that, because no one was really doing anything else. I mean, Corey Davis had a couple catches. I know Moore had that one big, nice throw when Flacco threw it, down. But like, you need to go with the hot hand. I'm glad you said that because the hot hand was Garrett Wilson. For sure.
Yeah, I think at that point it was very clear to me. It was Elijah Moore and Garrett Wilson were the two you wanted in the game. You wanted them on the field like crazy. Corey Davis, he ended up making some big catches too in the right situation, but not over those other two guys. And on third down, maybe we need to throw the ball to someone else, because it seems that like these drop passes on third down, they're like turnovers. They end the drive. It's absolutely devastating. So we just can't have it. And When Garrett Wilson made that play, I thought you got to keep him in. He electrified the team, the offense, the crowd. Like you felt the electricity. How do you pull him off the field? Like keep him on the field, like the rest of the game, because you saw he was the one that showed up. He showed up, and that's who you got to play. The guys who show up.
You know what it felt like? I know we always go, the fourth preseason game, right? It's always been like that for a long time. But you know what I feel like adding that 17th game in there, this game felt like more of a preseason game because they were switching out so many people. It was like, yo, this is week one now. Like, keep the dudes in there who was the hot hand. That's what it literally felt like. I know there's a lot of Ravens fans there. I know there's a lot of Jets fans there. But like the game felt like a preseason game in my opinion because they switched out so many people, like I said. But go with the hot hand. That's what we've been talking about the whole time. But at the same time, I was disappointed. And I know a lot of people were like, hey, they traveled everywhere to be at the game. I know you came from Sacramento. I came from St. Louis. But it was like, I'm always willing to go to Jets games. I love it. Like, that's what we're passionate about, me and you. But it also didn't feel like it was worth it. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, there's no question the highlight ended up just being the people, right? And just so many people like that we met through these kind of shows online,
Right,
Twitter,
right.
getting to see each other's faces and getting to meet, in person, and the
Right.
tailgate. And then, all of us did fun things before that.
Right.
It was like, I kind of made an analogy on Twitter. I said, it was like, with Red Lobster, you go to Red Lobster and everything is great at Red Lobster except the lobster. Well, Jets weekend, we come in and we have all these activities and everything, 2 to 3 days of fun and everything for the Jet game. And the only thing that wasn't good was the Jet game.
Exactly. Everything was great before.
Yeah.
Everything was great before. And then, I mean, honestly, I couldn't wait just to get home and I got a bite at Wendy's, and it was that was it. It was just like, come on. But now, we're done with the game now, going from the Ravens now to the Browns. What do you think, needs to happen better? But what do they need to address this Browns game?
Well, here's what's going to kill us. Here's what makes this game so hard, and it's really one thing. How I have no problem with how our defense played, and I have no doubt that our defense has every capability of doing the same thing to the Browns. We could shut them down the first half, and do some great things. We can. I don't care how good Hunt is. We were stopping Baltimore from running. We could certainly stop them from passing with that.
Right.
With Brissett in.
Mm-hmm.
The thing that worries me is Flacco going to come out and just be a different quarterback? And is our offensive line going to be able to protect them? Because Cleveland's defense is not going to be any easier. Sorry, I got a little bit of a cough.
Don't worry about it. I had it too. But you're right. Is Flacco just going to come out and be a totally different guy, and we address the whole line? We address the people not switching out all the time and go with the hot hand. I mean, and also we're facing against Jacoby Brissett. Come on.
Yeah.
Come on. We should beat these guys.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I don't care if our defense is predicated on the 4 guys blitzing. It's like blitz.
Right.
Blitz. Send Whitehead in. Send in the army. I mean, just blitz. Terrorize this guy. Trust your cornerbacks. You have DJ Reed. You have Sauce Gardner. Let's zero cover. Let's do what freaking Miami did last year to teams. Let's just blitz the hell out of them. We gotta force turnovers. We gotta make big plays because we're not gonna score points with our offense in a traditional game. We're gonna have to cause some big turnovers, get some good field position, get the momentum. How do you make that happen? The defense has got to be more than just stopping them. We need more from this defense right now because we're on our backup quarterback and we're in an offensive line that's not in sync. So we're going to have to create the opportunities. That's what teams with great defenses and bad offenses do. And the difference is sometimes they get blown out because they can't do it, and sometimes they win games because they can do it. When you have a great defense and a weak offense, you need the defense to create the opportunities. They got to get out of their brain that they have to follow this one way of doing things and realize that they have the talent in the secondary now that they could send some guys in. I want them to throw at Sauce Gardner alone. Like leave him on an island, challenge them, let that quarterback make a bad, ill-advised throw towards Sauce Gardner so he can pick the ball off.
Right. And not only that, he needs to get tested. They all need to get tested. It doesn't matter if you're the best player in the NFL on defense. It doesn't matter if you're the best player in the NFL on offense. People need to get tested and people need to spread out. I mean, if Jordan keeps doing what he's doing, put Tony Adams in. You saw the plays when he was at the University of Illinois. He beat out Pinnock. He beat out Parks. He beat out Goodry. I mean, it's one of those things where we have him there for a reason. If Joyner continues to do what he's doing, I love what Quan Alexander did. I love what all the pieces that we have. Unleash them, test them. It's the Browns. I understand that they have a pretty good defense, with Clowney and Myles Garrett leading the way, but it's coming to the point where I think this is a beatable team. They don't have Deshaun Watson. They have Cooper and Chubb, but if you can shut them down, they really don't have anybody else. Your thoughts?
Yeah. I mean, look, there's no reason that we have to give up points to them. There's no reason we can't dominate them with our defense. Now, offensively, we just can't make mistakes. Just no mistakes offensively. You can't make the big mistakes. Find a way to utilize the weapons. They did it with Mike White against Cincinnati last year.
Right.
They found a way to do it.
Right.
Just get some of these guys the ball. Some screen passes. I don't care. Some quick outs. Just get these guys the ball and let them do something. But most importantly, it's on defense. We got to put pressure. We got to make it that we force some turnovers. It's killing us. We finally we got a pick, obviously on Sunday, and Reed got the pick, but we need 2-3 turnovers.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm so frustrated when there's a fumble and our guys, it's right. The fumble's to our players, and they're trying to pick it up and fumble around with it, and then the other team jumps on it. I mean, train them to jump on the ball. I mean, I remember in Pee Wee League, we were trained. It's a grenade. Jump on the grenade.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You jump on the ball. We had 2 guys there, and they didn't jump on the ball. I don't understand.
And to add to that, it's be the ball, go to the ball, be the ball, jump on the ball. I mean, you could put an egg out there and they would get that egg. They could even go out and put tomatoes and apples out there. Do something with it.
Yeah.
The thing that I want to add to that is we could talk about how his press conference today, Mr. Saleh, he wants receipts. It's only week 2. It's going week 2. Receipts. Listen, you can't talk about receipts. You've only been here for your 2nd year. We have been dealing with this for 12 years as a Jets fan base. If that is your cue on firing up this team, then okay, I'm all for it. But you can't go out there and say receipts on something that's we can say that. You can't say that yet. That's just my opinion. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm thinking if you're already starting to feel that, it's like, Mister, you just getting started,
right?
You have no idea. It's like you finally caught on that it's not fun being a joke. You finally got annoyed and bothered by it, dude. I want a coach that comes in that starts off. Remember Rex Ryan when he came in day 1? He said, "I'm not kissing the rings." Day 1, I'm not kissing the rings.
Yeah,
I'm here to win championships. Play like a Jet.
Amen.
The first thing he did was he made it very clear. You want to talk shit? I'm going to bring you shit. I'll throw the
Yeah.
shit back in your face. And it's like a year later, after another ridiculous way to open the season, now you're going to come out and you're going to start talking receipts.
Yeah.
I mean, stop talking about how we have to be patient. No. We might have to be patient before we're winning a Super Bowl, but we don't have to be patient to expect competitiveness and not coming out there and being an anemic offense. And believe me, that offense only scored 3 points. That touchdown does not count. It is garbage time baloney. We have no evidence that we get that touchdown. They were letting us get 10, 15-yard passes to eat the clock and letting us walk down the field. I do not count that as a touchdown because it's a non-competitive touchdown.
And not only that, it's like if he really wants to like go there, it's like I'm okay with the positive crap. I'm okay with the 60%. He talks a good game, but honestly, Jets Chaos, I'm at that point where I'm like, hit him. I don't know. Do something. Fire someone's ass up. Rex Ryan was so good at that. And the fact is, we haven't really been competitive since Decker, Marshall, and Fitzpatrick was here, along with Todd Bowles. I know all that was a cluster crap, but like we at least had a chance to go to the playoffs after the Patriots. That's the feeling we want back. Okay, and if he doesn't understand that, I still think he's the guy. Don't get me wrong. I still think he's the guy eventually, but I mean, come on. This is like we said. This is too early. It's too early. It's just
Right.
too early. He needs to step up. Defense coordinator to step up. Offensive coordinator to step up. We all need to step up, and this is the perfect opportunity. If you want to get your fan base back on the map with this, get into the Brown Stadium. Shut everybody up. You know, Stephen A. Smith, Peyton Manning, all of them. If you really want to get in there, make a statement in this Browns game. I understand after that, it's a tough schedule. As we both know, it's a very tough schedule. But be competitive. Go with your guys, the hot hand. We got this. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. We could look, we could a win against Cleveland would shut some people up a little bit. A little bit, I say. Because the reason I say that is because even when we made it to those 2 AFC championship games, it still felt that we got no respect.
I agree.
We still felt like we're treated like a redheaded stepchild to Pittsburgh, to New England. You know, like it just didn't get the respect. Like it's and the obvious part of it is from an other fan base perspective, they act like 2010, 2011, 2004, 1998. That those runs didn't even happen in their minds. In their minds, the Jets are a joke for the last 40 years. They don't have other fan bases don't even have a memory of the Jets being competitive.
Yeah, and it's frustrating as hell because we got Favre when we had Mancini and Thomas Jones, for God's sakes, and it was so great. And then Sanchez came along. I know the butt fumble, like I get that, but like it's one of those things where we had competitive teams. People wanted to come here. Okay, Damian Woody came here. LT, Jason Taylor, Cromartie, Revis came back. We had the players and the teams, and people still didn't take us seriously. I understand that we don't get that much respect, but like we're doing something special we have before, but we're always the laughing stock, and I'm sick and tired of being the laughing stock. We're like rag dolls. We're the rag dolls at people's punchline. Yeah. And we can shut, like you said, we can shut little people up this weekend if we win. But if Brissett comes out and just lights it up against our defense, it's going to be super embarrassing going into week 3. But and also, you know, Russell Wilson last night, you know, against Geno Smith. Did you watch that game?
Yeah.
Okay.
On the plane.
Okay. See, I'm a big. So I'm Gino. You know, Gino and Gino. I had so many people say my name on Twitter last night. And I'm just like, yes, how can I help you? Oh, wait, the other one. But it's one of those things where Geno Smith looked good for an offense that was built around him. I was kind of jealous a little bit. What do you think?
Yeah, it's you watch it, and what I never understood about the Geno Smith thing was we all talk about how you got to give quarterbacks time.
Yeah.
I don't understand why people are saying he was that bad. You know, his first year, he had a bunch of come from behind fourth quarter drives. He did some things that showed some promise. And his last game as a Jet against Miami, he looked really good. Like he had a great game. He had like 120 quarterback rating, I think, that last game. He was great. And I didn't know when
Yeah,
that game ended that was going to be his last year as our quarterback. I thought year 3 he's coming back and we're going to have Geno Smith.
yeah,
We never really gave him the chance,
I agree.
and we never gave him the third year.
Right,
And
agree.
you saw yesterday. There was a lot of talent there with good coaching, and it makes you think about, what's the real problem that we've had. We always talk about, oh, it's the quarterback, it's this, it's that, but what's the real problem? Because it seems like when we've had good coaches, Rex Ryan,
Hmm.
we get results.
Agreed.
And
And it's,
I mean, Salah's just starting. I understand that he took over
I
Kraft
understand.
and we're rebuilding it, but he can't come into those press conferences with the same excuses, saying, "Oh, they played well. It was 3 plays. It was really 3 plays, and it was some mistakes that we could fix." It's like, no,
Right.
we don't want to hear that. We know that's all football teams. All
Hmm.
football teams have talent. All football
Hmm.
teams, when they lose, it's because it's right. Those mistakes are the mistakes that a coach and the coaching staff are supposed to eliminate. So
Hmm.
basically, what you're saying is we lost because the coaching staff was weak. Well, if you're saying that every
Hmm.
week, eventually we have to find a new coaching staff.
Hmm. Yeah. And it's one of those things where it's gonna, if this continues, it's, and I know it's week 1, but going on week 2, it's, he does that all the time. And I get it. You're trying to defend your team, but like, people catch on really quickly in New York. We're the New York Jets. You're at the big time now. You were in San Francisco, you were in Seattle, I get you were with Houston, but like, you're in the Big Apple now. You're with the Giants team that just came off a win off a missed field goal. You know how pretty excited they are right now? Like, it's one of those things where if Salah doesn't even remember like what it was like last year, which I really think he does, but this is New York. Like, we have high expectations. You got the Yankees, you got the Mets, you got the Knicks, you got the Nets again. It's We're in the big time now. We've had a sucky team for a long time. Get the job done. I know you can do it. Just
Yeah,
stop
they
with the
got
excuses and put it in the and put it in practice and get these guys healthy.
and hold everybody accountable equally. It's
Right.
like Denzel Mims did something to piss him off, and he's in the doghouse, and he's not even suited up. Corey Davis is a lot of drop passes, whatever he wants. And that's no problem, and there's no accountability. This
I
punter,
know.
this punter is a good punter 4 out of 5 punts, and every 5th punt he shanks it. Every one. Guess
Yeah.
what? There's 31 other punters out there in the NFL that don't shank every 5th punt.
Right.
And there's 20 punters looking for jobs that can just punt the ball 40 to 45 yards every time for us without
Yeah.
shanking. I mean, it's like
Exactly.
enough already with this crap. Get
Right.
them out. Get them out of here.
And just like we picked up Ty Long today on the practice squad, that was breaking news about a couple hours ago. And I've seen some of his stuff, and I've heard different feedback on Twitter and just overall research that I have. He's not really that great, but I hope he's an upgrade to man, number 7. I hope, because that's just it's not gonna fly here. And I don't know how you feel about Greg Zuerlein, Mr. Jets Chaos, but I just don't like. I just don't see it. If he comes back, he comes back and bounce back. But dude, I have worked for the Rams. I have brothers-in-laws that are Cowboys fans. I saw him peak at a really great moment in his career the first 3 years he was here when I was with the Rams. He did good, but after that, he just declined. He could do good, from like 50 or 60 yards out, but he can't do the 25-yard, 20-yard field goals. He just can't. He just can't. Okay. I know people are like, "Oh, we beat Eddie Pinheiro fair and square." Yeah, okay, but Eddie Pinheiro came in last year pretty good, and they just won. Panthers. I mean, he was the kicker. I mean, come on. Like, and plus, I understand Zerline, he's always been really good in domes, okay? He was good in domes in St. Louis, good in the dome, kind of good in the dome with the Cowboys. But when he went to LA, it roughed up a little bit. And then they got rid of him won the Super Bowl. But then he comes to the Jets, and it's like I was never sold on him. Like I said, I wish him best of luck. I hope he bounces back. But I'm not too high on him. What do you think?
Well, when you see the kicker you cut go 4 for 4 for the new team and not
Right.
miss anything, and then you watch the guy that you picked over him miss a field goal
Mm-hmm.
and an extra point.
Yeah.
What makes no
Yeah.
sense to me is what did Pinero do last year
Exactly.
that deserved? It's okay to bring in competition. That's what Sal says. You bring in competition. Yeah, but the competition you bring in, there should be a much big differential. Like they should be
Right.
like it doesn't make sense. Pinero had one extra point blocked and missed nothing for us. He made every field goal we asked of him. If you look at his
Right.
career before he got hurt in Chicago, never missed. He was very accurate. I mean, not never, but he was very accurate. He was very good. So the decision to go with Greg, they have to accept if he doesn't work out, and this is what he's going to be.
Right.
That's on them, and they have to
Right.
take that on them. They need to come out and say we made a mistake. We let a
Right.
perfectly good kicker who did everything we asked him to do last year go
Mm-hmm.
in
Mm-hmm.
favor of a guy who's looked like crap for the last 3 years. I mean, other teams are
Amen.
saying, why did you go with Greg the Leg? Greg the Leg, yeah. He'll kick a 55-yarder for you. Then he'll miss, like you said, he'll miss 2 35-yarders and cost you the game. It's like, can
Amen.
you imagine we're going to be like in the 2-minute offense down by 2 points, and we're going to be yelling and rooting
Yeah.
against them. We're going to not want them to go past the 45-yard line. We'll be clapping and say, okay, kick the field goal now, because if you get too close, he's just going to miss it. Like
Right.
the only time you have a chance to kick a field goal with him is when it's over 50 yards.
Right.
Crazy.
It's like I said, it just gives me flashbacks because, like I said, I work for the Rams. I've seen what this guy can do. Cowboys. I've seen my brother-in-laws and everything. It's just I okay. When I was watching this game and when Greg Lake come in, I would literally just stand still and just be like, he's gonna miss. He's just gonna miss. It's just gonna happen. And it's in crappy rain conditions. It's gonna happen. I miss Eddie Pinero, and look what the hell happens. He does it. I get he's a veteran. Get he's got that Greg the Leg nickname. They should never gave it to him in the first place. And it's just like it's just like no. I wish Eddie Pinero was back, but like I said before, Greg the Leg bounces back. Great. I will sing his praises. But right now, I'm going by what I know, what I see, line in it right now. Hopefully, like I said, they bounce back, but it's just not happening. But moving on, what do you think the score will be this Sunday, Browns versus Jets?
Oof. Man, this game is going to come down to who forces a turnover,
I agree.
and it really is. I think it's going to be field goals. I don't trust our offense at all. I really
Yeah,
don't. I think like
yeah,
we might literally see like a 12-9 game here, or a 15-12, 15-9 type game.
right.
And unfortunately, right now the way I feel, maybe I'll feel differently in a couple of days.
You're right, right,
I
right.
don't trust our field goal kicker. Like I don't think we
Yeah,
can win a field goal battle game
I agree.
because he's showed me nothing to make me believe that. So I think we're going to have another anemic day on offense. I think that I'm hoping that our defense will play well.
Mm-hmm.
If the only way we're going to win this game is if we cause some turnovers deep in their territory and turn it into scores, or if we get lucky and Brees Hall breaks one, or Garrett Wilson or
Right,
Elijah catches a small pass and turns it into a touchdown. That's the only
right.
way we're going to win. But if someone had a gun to my head, I say we're going to lose. We're going to lose. We're going to, if someone has a gun to my head and said, well, you have to pick. I'm thinking Cleveland's going to score, probably maybe even, I don't know, 19-9 again. We score 9 again. I just don't. I don't have a lot of hope that we can score offensively. Not with, if Zach Wilson was in there, I think maybe there's a chance because he's so electric. He could run, go off script. But I just don't see that with Joe Flacco. Uh-oh. Did I freeze or did you freeze? I still see the banner going across. I think that's Gino froze. That's what I'm going to guess because my little thing's not spinning and I'm watching the words go across the screen. So here we are, still live with a frozen host. A frozen host. Oh, now it's just me running somebody else's channel. I can go into my Jets Chaos mode and start talking and introducing people, but there's let's see if there's anyone in the chat here. Anyway, Gino's re-signing in. He's coming in right now. Here he comes. All right, you were frozen.
Yeah, I know. My Wi-Fi went out.
happens to me too.
Yeah,
all the time.
So, thank you for covering. We'll repeat what you said real quick. Sorry about that.
Yeah, well, they probably heard what I was saying. I was just saying that at the end of the day, unless we get lucky and one of our guys breaks one, I just don't have any confidence in Joe Flacco right now. I am missing Zach Wilson because at least Zach Wilson gave us the possibility of escapability in the pocket. So when we're not protecting him, he always gave you that hope because he could escape the pocket. And then maybe with a guy like Garrett Wilson or Elijah Moore, they break free, or Corey Davis, like against Tennessee, and you can get that big play. But Joe Flacco just does not have that athletic ability. So I'm not having a lot of hope in this game. I don't have a lot of hope.
It's going to be the battle of the defenses when it comes to the Ravens in the beginning of the first quarter and second quarter and our defense. I think it's going to be battle of defenses. The offense is not going to be great, I think, on both sides with the Browns and Jets. I think it's going to be 17-10 Browns, in my opinion. Now, I could switch on my answer a few days from now, but, it's going to come down to the kickers, and I know me and you aren't confident with the kickers, and I think that's just what's going to happen. I thought, with the Ravens game it would happen, but no. But moving on, we're going to have some fun now. So, Jets Chaos, who is your all-time favorite Jet?
So tough because I've been a Jet fan for so long, and the guys from when you're really young always stick out bigger than as you grow up. Because now I see them as men. Now I see them as kids. So when I was young, I saw them as heroes. Right, I was looking up to them. I would say right now, Wayne Corbett is, kind of like came in the middle of my fandom, and the reason and you saw the jersey I was wearing at the game. The thing about Corbett is just the heart, what he gave the team. It almost disturbs me now watching the old highlights of him playing, what he gave up and if I was his family, if I wasn't a Jet fan, but if I was his parents, if I was his brother, if I was his uncle, I wouldn't want him doing what he did. Like, I'd be proud of his heart and everything, but as somebody he really just gave himself up. It's like for the team and for the fans, and the desire to be great. And it's hard not to just, kind of put him on the top of the mountain for me. Is just a guy to always love and respect as a Jet fan because he represented everything I feel as a fan for the Jets. It's just pure heart.
Man, I love that story. I love what you said, and it kind of started with me too, with Wayne Corbett and what he did for the Jets throughout everything, and what he's done for the community as well. Joe Namath and Wayne Corbett are my guys. Now, for you, how did Jets Chaos start? With your YouTube channels and your social media, how did that all take place?
Well, it's interesting. I was actually sitting around because of the pandemic and everything, and and there's just no one to talk Jets with, and I just wanted news. And this was about a year and a half ago. And I was searching on YouTube, or I saw a video. I typed in Jets. I don't know. Somehow I found a video from Matt O'Leary.
Oh man,
and I watched
there you go.
Yeah, and I watched the video, and I said, "This is cool. This guy's just talking about Jets."
Yeah.
And then I started watching his stuff, and it's like I discovered right. And then one day, and then I saw Jets Central, like I saw Ian some of his videos. I said, "Oh, this is cool." And then one day I'm searching for Matt O'Leary. I can't find him because I didn't know the name. I didn't subscribe. I'm like, shit, I'm like looking,
Right.
I'm looking,
Right.
I'm searching, and I came across the panel, the Tuesday night panel.
Oh. Oh. Okay.
Right, turn it on, and there is this guy with a goofy pilot hat, but there's my boy Matt O'Leary, and there's this really ugly guy with a big beard, right? And dude, yeah, and like
Right.
so I got into those guys, and I was watching, and one day they said, "Oh, we're gonna do a thing where they put the StreamYard link literally in the chat." And they
Oh
said, "Anybody
wow.
want to join?" They said, "Anybody want to join us? We want your thoughts on what you think we're going to do in the draft." So I hit the
Oh.
link, and I'm in the waiting room, and they picked me. So the next thing you know, I'm sitting there talking to them. And O'Leary recognized me because I called into his show a couple of times. He said, "Oh, Jeremy McFadden, I know that name." And I was on there or whatever. So they said, "Hey, what's up?" And I was talking, and it went well. And then I started watching Green Bean a lot and commenting a lot. And he did this contest on Instagram where he put up a picture of like a Joe Namath picture, like on wood, like a painting of him kind of thing, and said, "What
Oh.
amusement park is this?" And I was following him a little and knew he was doing this tour of the Jersey Shore. So I Googled all amusement parks along the Jersey Shore and started guessing them all. I looked up and saw his wife because I saw like he was connected to like from his other channel, his wife's username on Instagram, and I asked her, and she wouldn't tell me. And then after guessing like all 13 amusement parks in the Jersey Shore, the last guess that I made was right. But he never said I couldn't take multiple guesses. And what happened was the prize for guessing was you get to be on his show for an hour.
Hmm.
So I won, and all he did for the first 15 minutes was abuse me. He said, "You cheated, you're a cheater, but you won, even though you're a cheater." And he let me on his show. And afterwards, he said, "Hey, man, that was a lot of fun. Do you want to write some articles for me for my website?" And then it kind of stemmed from there. And I met Frankie from Flatbush. I don't know if you're familiar with Frankie.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was friendly with him in the chat. We were talking in the chats of all these live shows,
Yeah.
and in the chat, he said, "I have a channel." I said, "Oh yeah," and like he pointed me there. He had like 4 subscribers. There was like 20 videos of him, and I said, "This guy's really good. Nobody knows about him." I was subscriber number 5, and I went
Mhm.
into a show. I went into the next live show, and I said in the chat, I said to Frankie, literally in the chat of the panel, I said, "Hey Frankie, do you want to go live? Do you want to do this? Create a place for people to hang out?" And he said, "Yeah." And I said, "Okay, I don't know how to do any of the technology." I said, "You want to do it? I don't
Right.
got time." He said, "Yes." So he already had the channel. He got StreamYard, and he figured it out. And he said, "Okay, let's go on Sunday and see what happens." And we started YouTubing, and doing the show. We did a show together called Chaos Meets Calmness. So I was the chaos, and he was the calmness. And we
Hmm.
ran that show for about 3 months. And I started to get recognized by people like online. People were like knowing what I was doing, but Frankie wanted
Hmm.
to do a lot more videos and do his thing, and I kind of
Hmm.
was kind of now getting itchy. I wanted to do my thing, so I broke off and started my channel, and that's how it kind of just came to be. And then
Man.
that's about 8 months ago. So 8 9 months ago. That was November, like Thanksgiving of November last year. That was when my channel started. So I started with yeah, I started it hasn't even been a year, but it really, with the help of people like Green Bean and, you know, just getting lucky and having some of those guys support me, I was able to build up the channel.
Man, that is awesome. Man, that's awesome. I love collabing with people. I love getting to know people, and it's one of those things where I love making connections too. Starting shows and be on people's shows and talking Jets all the time. And man, that's such a great story. That gives me hope for my channel. I love that. So and plus, so you've been only been doing this for, you said, almost a year now.
Well, I've been a little over a year if you count other channels. But yeah, it's probably
Right.
about 15 months. But my channel since November, however long ago, I guess it's 9 months now, 9, 10. Like, I guess I'm about 10 months now
Oh,
for my
cool.
channel for Jets Chaos. Yeah.
Man, I love that. Man, I love that. Do you now going after that, well, we have one more question for you. What is your favorite memory? What it could be away game, home game, training camp, anything to do with the Jets. What's your favorite memory being a Jets fan at a game or training camp?
This changes each time sometimes, but
Yeah.
my but my favorite memory, it wasn't really one particular. Well, it was a moment. It was a commercial. In 1983, before the Mud
Hmm.
Bowl, when the Jets were going on that run, I believe we
Hmm.
beat Cincinnati, who was in the Super Bowl the year before, and we beat the Raiders. And then that's when we went into the Mud Bowl against Miami with the sack exchange and everything. But Richard Todd was in his prime. Like, that was the one, that was, except for the interception bug where you just couldn't get, where you fall apart with the interceptions. He was our guy. And we had just beaten Cincinnati and we were going in to play the
Hmm.
Raiders. Oh no,
Hmm.
we had beaten the Raiders and we were going to play Cincinnati, either one way or the other. May have been the wild card game against Cincinnati, but anyway, in like an interview like that, they would keep playing as a promo for the game. They said to Richard Todd, they said, the Bengals were in the Super Bowl last year, and he goes, yeah, but this year they got to play us New York Jets, and that
Mm.
was such a great memory because they weren't the Jets that would then, and that was in the beginning of my fandom. So they that was in my brain, in my mind, they weren't the redheaded stepchild. They weren't the losers, the joke of the NFL. They were the team people feared. They were Gastineau, they were Klecko, they were Marty Lyons, they were Abdul Salam, they were Lance Mel, they were Kyle Clifton, they were Freeman McNeil, they were, Mickey Schuler. There you go. So that's what we were. We weren't a
Hmm.
joke. We were real. And then the fact that he said that, and then we beat Cincinnati, and we did it. We went all the way to that AFC Championship game. I think that was the highlight. That was like a great memory, and it depends on the day you ask me. I mean, I was at a Chargers playoff game in 2004, and I watched us beat the Chargers in overtime. So I have a lot of them. That was harder because I was the only Jet fan, like, within, there, and I had to be careful because I was worried I was going to get my butt kicked.
Hmm.
But
Hmm.
because I know the emotions of losing a playoff game, so I wasn't going to run my mouth, like,
Right.
surrounded
No, I get that.
Charger fans. But so that kind of put a damper on it because if we were sitting in, the Meadowlands for that game at the time, it was the
Right.
Meadowlands, like, then it would have been a much, probably my best memory, obviously, because I would have been
I love that.
surrounded by Jet fans.
Oh man, I love that. Man, I want to go to a playoff game so bad. I only have two experience with the Jets. Away game when I worked for the Rams and Sanchez and LT were all there. Tebow was there as well. And I got to experience being a flag guy on the field in that moment. And then, going to the home opener, like even though we lost, I still had a great experience meeting everybody and getting recognized through my channel and social media. It was still really cool, even though we lost. But Jets Chaos, I really appreciate you being on the show. I know we'll do more in the future. And where can we follow you again?
Absolutely. Pleasure being here. I appreciate everybody. Everybody who's watching this video, watches this video. Definitely give it a like, support this guy. Definitely make sure you sub and support all his social media efforts. He's great. That's why I came on. I said he's such a good guy. So you deserve the best. If you want to, if you're not subscribed to me and you're watching, you want to sub to me. I always got room for more in my community as well.
Love it. Few things. Sorry, I can't talk tonight. Few things real quick. If you guys are across the pond, please go to London, Ireland, even in UK, like I said, Germany. Please hit these guys up. They are really great. When I get the Europe one day, I can't wait to hang out with those guys. And also including with Jets Chaos as well. You can follow everything here at Everything NYJ on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. Everyone, you have a great night, Mr. Chaos. You have a great one, my brother.
Take care.